Good morning. Hi, peoples of the internet. It's just gone 8 AM on a Saturday morning, and I'm talking to you today, basically to promote my book. Now you're thinking, oh no, it's going to be a boring commercial. Well, no, because I thought in order to promote my book, which is coming out in 6 days' time on the 17th, although it's available for pre-order right now on Kindle, I thought I would read not poems in the book, but poems that aren't in the book, poems that didn't quite make it. Basically, the idea being that if you like the poems that aren't in the book, hopefully you'll like the ones that are in it more. So that's the theory. Right, I should try and... Annoyingly, I can't swap between cameras whilst recording, so... Because this phone's got two cameras on it. It's got the selfie camera that I'm using, and it's got the other camera that faces the other way, but I can't seem to switch between the two whilst recording, which would have made it so much easier to show you the front cover of my book. But if I turn this, there we go, hopefully you can see that. So that's what it looks like. Anyway, that's the... Hopefully I'll have to have a look at the video later, see if you saw that or not. Anyway, so it's called Fascinate, Twisted Poems for the Depraved, and it's available for £1.47 on Kindle Books. I think it's about $1.86 or $1.98 or something like that in America. Obviously different currencies, slightly different prices, various places, but yeah, £1.47. Right, now if I go browse gallery, let's find some poems to read. Ooh, actually that's probably a good one to start with, because it's been trying to snow this morning and most of yesterday, but the ground's too warm, it's not settling, so, which is a bit crap, because if it's going to snow, it might as well snow, you know. Although I'm supposed to be taking my brother to the cinema today, and he's in a wheelchair, so if it was snowy, that wouldn't work very well. Right. Okay, so I'll start with this poem. I've not really pre-planned anything, so apart from the fact I'm going to read some poems. So I'm not sure which poems I'm going to read. I've not ran through them, so some of them I might not remember exactly how they scan, and it might be a bit... But that's the fun of this kind of video. Okay, I would have wished... I wanted to show you some other things, actually, before I get into the poetry. Got myself a nice new pentacle, and bought a new chain. Well, I've got the pentacle a couple of days ago, and I got the chain for it yesterday. And nice new t-shirt. There we go. If you can hear a fire on, it's because the fire's on, because it's fucking freezing. But yes, so Alice in Wonderland. I suppose the hat's still fairly new as well. Anyway, so lots of new things, including new book. But anyway, right. And on top of everything else, it's a bit early in the day for me. Okay, I would have wished for snow. Woken by the rain on New Year's Day, tears to wash away the stain of yesteryear, but things remain the same except for hope and fear. Of course events occur as time will tell, but for most, no magic at midnight's bell. Obviously, I wrote that on New Year's Day this year. Right. Ooh. The Nightmare. Let's read that one. Okay. I'm probably going to end up with some of these cringing halfway through them because I've realised why they didn't go in the book or whatever. I think this one's okay, but I'm not sure there'll be some where it's like, oh god, I hate that line or what. The Nightmare. Hoofbeats, coming for me in the darkness, always the same, night after night, nowhere to hide and no way to gain, an increasing gap between me and that black horse. In a cold sweat I wake, no way to sleep, driven insane and driven to weep by that black horse, chasing me down through the same cobbled town. Sometimes I run and sometimes I stand. When I stand I wake screaming with blood on my hand, and I don't think it's mine, going out of my mind, for that black horse appears every time I dream. Okay. I think that was quite good. I hope you agree. Right. Ooh. A chill is in despair. Let's go for that. Lonely as the maze of graves of a war from long ago, curtsy to the snowdrops, but there is only snow. Wipe away the sorrow frozen on your cheek. Look for her tomorrow, if tongue you have to speak. Curtain falls on glory, tickets rot unsold. Two sides to a gory, ghastly ending cold. I feel I could have read that slightly better, but I don't want to be doing the same poem 3 times, so let's move on. Ooh, Trivium. Yeah, let's do Trivium. On a moonless night, with torch held bright at the crossroads down the lane, Hecate holds back the dead who want to walk again, and when she finds no offering on which her dog might feast, a few slip through just out of view before she's unleashed the beast. Cerberus must have his snack, he's got 3 mouths to feed, and if you don't provide for me, you can watch ancestors bleed. Yeah. I think that one's better if you read it yourself. Yeah, Dryder. Okay, Dryder. There's a Dryder in the bath, too big to wash away. There's a Dryder in the bath, and she says she'd like to stay. There's a Dryder in the bathroom, so watch your step in there. She seems sweet, but step upon one of her 8 feet, and she'll eat you like an eclair. She's promised not to bite me, but it's still a bit unnerving when she dangles from the light shade whilst pretending she's not perving. I think I prefer the idea to the actual poem. But, yeah, just because I'm not hugely fond of it doesn't mean you won't be. I'm definitely aware that sometimes the poems I like aren't the poems that you like, and vice versa. Because I see what favourites I get on them on DeviantArt, and sometimes it's like, why does everybody like that one? But usually there's a good amount of agreement. But Ooh. Yeah, okay. Anguish on ebb. When fan meets the shit, can you handle it? And please wash your hands before we shake with anxiety. Screaming solves the silence, shields subdue the violence upon the violin of you ill-played by this society. A single tear like dew cold upon a silken web of a memory or two, anguish on ebb. It's very tempting to read that again. Because it's been quite a while since I've looked at it, and yeah. But no, we'll do it all in one take, so to speak. Medusa. Amongst scared-looking statues a body was found. Many thought it a fake when it was pulled from the ground, because back end a snake and the top of a lady, and her head unaccounted for, which seemed pretty shady. Then some scientist chap took her DNA and did something silly he'd regret to this day, if he wasn't a statue placed on display by the clone of Medusa, who lurks, so they say, in shadow cemeteries and shops on Sunday. Does she lurk in shops, or does she go shopping? Right, there'd be an awful lot of statues if you go shopping every Sunday, wouldn't there? Ooh. Okay, let's have some total nonsense. Bard ketchup. Sleep deprived, I arrived at exhaustion station. No room at the inquest. I grin then. Why not detest? Dialectical digest is thrust fraught with disgust and opposed opinions like thumbs slump through windows of tomorrow's sorrow. And wry do we even odd I thought at the time of 11 years forgotten. Meandering madness flip-flops till Tuesday. Upon polished poise within the satin of her skin lay wanton upon her backside, eyes wide, we strode until Lieutenant commanded his platitude of appreciation. My mind, unmade, rewinds before with pencils. It was a good year, then it was no more. Bygone I know now, and only the walk-away follows. Thought dissolves in passionate undoings. Again I blurb insanity's kiss, a pretty miss refrain. Coffee keep company with gypsy tonic, ironic, buttered head, zipple z, and a compliment. In merriment we stride, open wide, your head unfred. That was hard to read. I'm sure I knew how to read it when I wrote it. Bloody hell. Actually, I'm going to try that again. Maybe do it a bit slower. Sleep deprived, I arrived at exhaustion station. No room at the inquest. I grin then. Why not detest? Dialectical digest is thrust fraught with disgust and opposed opinions like thumbs slump through windows of tomorrow's sorrow. And wry do we even odd I thought at the time of 11 years forgotten. Meandering madness flip-flops till Tuesday. Upon polished poise within the satin of her skin lay wanton upon her backside, eyes wide. We strode until Lieutenant commanded his platitude of appreciation. My mind, unmade, rewinds before with pencils. It was a good year, then it was no more. Bygone, I know now, and only the walk-away follows. Thought dissolves in passionate undoings. Again I blurb insanity's kiss, a pretty miss refrain. Coffee keeps company with gypsy tonic, ironic, buttered head, zipple z, An accompaniment in merriment we stride, open wide, your head unfred. So much better, yeah. Hope you agree. It's all in the delivery. Alright. No, I probably shouldn't. Oh, go on then. The Wet Dream Fairy and the Rooster of Doom. Oh dear, I'd forgotten how this poem is. Okay. I suppose I have to now, don't I? If you wake with morning wood, don't rush to lift the cover, because the sight that greets your eyes might remind you of your brother. The Wet Dream Fairy is just a gnome with lipstick ill applied, and some who see him on their cocks succumb to suicide. What if you ask... And if you ask him what the fuck, his retort will be, I must milk the Rooster of Doom to save humanity. Or at least that's what he slurred drunkenly at me. However, on an odd occasion, sober with his glamour on, you half waken to a wanton Auburn Amazon, who rides you at a gallop until your seed bursts free, just as mother enters with your morning cup of tea, and the fairy of wet dreams is nowhere there to see. Oh dear, oh dear. It's a good poem. Please go to my DeviantArt and read it yourself. I don't think I can read it sensibly right now. I guess we can do a very quick one. Although I can't actually tell you the title because it's just sort of a shocked face. Bears scare hares when they catch them unawares in the bathroom. Ooh. Oh. Right, this is experiment 4, or experiment IV, as in the Roman numerals, which is a Kate Bush song. And obviously this poem was inspired by that song. So, there we go. Same title, different words. Okay, experiment IV, or experiment 4. Foolishly we thought it was just a song. Unfortunately we couldn't have been more wrong. Experiment IV. I first saw it on YouTube with thankfully the sound turned off. A crowd of people protesting killed faster than a Kalashnikov. It was murder, no mistaking. The government are lying, but we know what was done. It was truly terrifying when they turned that speaker on. The crowd just started thrashing and fitting to the floor, and when they turned it off again, they didn't move no more. If only I could get Kate Bush to read that. it would work better in her voice. I think. Ooh. Gorgon's Delight, following on the Medusa theme from earlier. Blind men and gorgons, there's someone for us all. So what is your poison? What fetish makes you drool? What would make you cruel? Over bottles broken in Rachel's underwear. Who the fuck is Rachel? Do you even care? The blind man did. The gorgon hid, afraid to show her face. Unwelcome in every place, except his hairy arms. It's quite sweet. Okay. Now, as you probably know, it's now 2017, and last year was 2016. Funny how that works. And in 2016, lots of people died. Yes, that was almost a Terry Wogan impression. Almost. It really wasn't. And one of those people was David Bowie. And this poem is called Inspired by Heroes, and it's about lots of people being dead. But yes, and I'm going to do a very bad impression of David Bowie whilst reading this, I think. Now it is time that we stand up and rhyme, or act, or dance for a while. Just remember to put on a smile. Now we have to be awesome, because the old greats are dead. Now we have to be awesome. Get up out of bed. I know you are sad. Why wouldn't you feel really bad? But we can be something, and they would be proud that they showed us how. We must be awesome now that they're gone. I want to be awesome, so I'll start with this song. Just take a moment's silence to think about everybody who's died recently. Right. I did say a moment, not a minute. This is, don't want you to be bored. Okay. That's probably a good place to stop, really, but never mind, I'll do one more. Ooh. Right. Tried to forget I've just done that, because, yeah, that was a nice moment, and this won't be. Roasting a decomposing pig. Britain is like a seesaw, England sinking while Scotland rises. Could be because an obese whore is stinking in the south. Some say she throws up at parties without even leaving the table. Her rotting vulva leaks all over the place, and sadly this isn't a fable. And If there's anything worse than her weight and bodily fluids, it's the bullshit that comes from her hideous mouth and her smell like incontinent druids who haven't washed for a week. Would you believe this waddling disaster if you find her behind you walk faster? Is somehow employed aiding the mentally ill, she must be less help than a laxative pill to a patient with severe diarrhea and a sphincter incredibly weak. Which brings us back to her smell, not to mention her art. I've seen better stuff from a 3-year-old who's painted himself with a tart, and by tart I mean the body parts of a slut disfigured, dismembered, for just like her face, her art's a disgrace, and if not deplored, at least best ignored, and better never remembered, and the artist launched into space, to orbit Earth like a moon, but she's that sort of bitch who would come crashing back killing us all, just to buy a commemorative spoon. She's the worst kind of fluff in existence, like a jumper best seen from a distance. She's as emo as fuck, she walks like a duck, and when you tell her shut up like a Borg, she ignores your resistance. She's all about hugging and kissing, whilst her downstairs is oozing and pissing. Your bed that she climbed into unbidden, and beneath her exhausted a high unicorn ridden, wishes like her to be dead, but when the cunt jumped she bounced more than once, much to the crowd's disappointment, for on the face of the earth she's a hideous spot, too big to be hidden, and thus far completely resistant to ointment. It's annoying, I messed up a little bit, but I think that's a good place to stop. Buy the book!